We're here today with Lee Johnson, who teaches guitar in Boulder, Colorado, and who has a profile on FindaGuitarTeacher.com. Welcome, Lee. Thanks for being with us today.
Oh, thanks a bunch for having me. It's good to be here.
It's great to be here with you. Can you tell us first, where do you teach in Boulder? Do students come to you?
I have a couple options. I have my studio here in Boulder, and I also offer lessons online via Skype or Google Hangouts.
Excellent. And do you teach both adults and children?
I do. All ages, well, starting ages 6 and up, and all levels and all styles of music.
Excellent. And what styles of music would you say, are there particular styles that you tend to see more often when students come to you that they request?
Well, a large percentage of what I do is I teach students their favorite songs and the theory and techniques that go behind them. So I have students make playlists in their iPod or similar device, and I teach them the framework, the foundation, and the theory that they'll need to become proficient at the styles of music that they like. So it's really all over the map, everything from bluegrass to classical, from heavy metal to rock and roll to jazz guitar, and a variety of instruments, including guitar, acoustic and electric, bass guitar, dobro, lap steel, ukulele, songwriting, music theory, and more.
You cover a lot of different bases. I was noticing on your Find a Guitar Teacher profile picture that you are surrounded by all these stringed instruments. So you teach all of those as well.
I like the strings. Yeah, I teach a variety of instruments. That's correct.
Excellent. And I like what you say on your profile. You were talking about students burning you a playlist of songs that you say that the student chooses the songs, but I choose the order that we do them.
Yeah, what I try to do is, choose a song from their playlist that will help them apply the skills that we've learned so far. When a student chooses songs, they won't know if they're difficult or easy. So I just have them make a couple dozen songs in a playlist, and then I will help pair it, so to speak, with their ability level. And it also gives me an insight into where I need to go moving forward with their custom lesson program to help them gain the foundation and the skills necessary to start approaching some of those songs that are maybe a little bit more difficult in their list.
That sounds great, Lee. And can you tell us a little bit about the logistics of the lesson? How often do students work with you? What is the frequency of the lessons?
The typical lessons are either half hour, 45 minutes, or hour long, and usually once a week. There are some students who have a specific project coming up and they're cramming for it and they want to do more often, but the average is about once a week.
And do you, sorry, I lost my train of thought. What are your fees for half hour, 45 minute, and for an hour lesson?
What I do is I break it down for my students who are paying. Normally I have students pay to reserve their time spots for a month at a time. So it's about $5 more per half hour if they just want to schedule like what I call a one-off lesson. But my normal rates are for students who are continuing on a weekly basis, and that would be $30 a half an hour, $40 for 45 minutes, and $50 an hour.
Excellent. And you mentioned that you teach all different styles of guitar. I know you have a couple of guitars there with you. Maybe you could play a little bit and show prospective students watching the interview the type of music that you might be showing them.
Sure, I'd be happy to. I'll start out with my acoustic guitar here. I'm going to tilt the screen a little so people can see my fingers a little bit more. And I'm going to do a little demonstration of a few different styles depending on what students are interested in. So, we have classical music where we use the right hand fingers picking the strings and something like... just little, that's just a little beginning of a song. Everything to that, to more folk strumming. A lot of students need help with strum patterns. 1 and 2, 3 E and a 4. 1 and 2, 3 E and a 4. Counting and learning how to break down the strum pattern. Finger style. And then into strumming. And things like that. I have an electric guitar here to demonstrate a little bit of my, if people want to learn lead guitar, more like Eric Clapton or Stevie Ray Vaughan, they can learn. can learn all kinds of electric guitar riffs and things like that, familiar classic rock songs. Or, again, some jazz guitar. So the whole range, depending on the student's interests, we will customize the lesson program. If they like folk pop, guys like John Mayer, Jack Johnson, or if they like, classic rock like Eric Clapton and Stevie Ray Vaughan, blues, or they want to learn a little bit of classical technique, whether they are interested in note reading and formal music theory, or they just want to learn how to jam with their buddies at the local bluegrass jam or coffee shop type jam. I've got everything from beginner students to people who are professionals playing in bands that I consult with and teach them how to arrange songs or create vocal harmonies, or, again, incorporating some of the theory. There's a lot of talented players that have never gotten the theory background. One of my strengths is helping give them the theory in a way that it makes sense in the real world and how it applies to songs that they're actually playing. I have a lot of students that, have taken a theory class and they say, well, that doesn't make any sense to the music I play. So I kind of help people connect that formal education and how it applies in their familiar and popular styles.
It sounds like in your own background that you've had a mixture of the real world experience and the education and music. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to guitar?
Yeah. Thank you for noticing that. I do. I sort of feel like I try to combine the best of all worlds. I studied formally at UCD Denver for a degree in music and sound technology. And that was in the early 90s as my second college career after studying environmental conservation here in Boulder. And so I've got that formal education. I've studied guitar from classical to whatever since I was a young kid, since I was 8 or 10 years old. I'm 45 now. And then I've also been on tour with bands, and so I've gotten that real world experience playing festivals and theaters and stuff all across the country. I currently have a home studio where I compose music for film and television. I have songwriting seminars that I run. I have songs signed with major label publishers in Nashville, for example, that are pitching to big artists like Luke Bryan and Carrie Underwood. And so I do a whole lot of actual work in the real world, which I think is helpful because I'm still active. It's not like I've retired from my career and now I'm just a teacher. I'm very active in lots of different realms of the music industry, and I think that helps my students because I can figure out what their goals are and help them along the way, just like so many great mentors I've had have helped me.
Yes, obviously you have experience in the past and in the present with so many different aspects of the music business and with performance. It sounds like you can draw on all of those things to bring those to your guitar teaching and to help your students.
Yeah, thank you. I do a little bit of everything. I have a jazz quartet that plays at weddings. I play classical instrumental music at weddings. I play with a rock band at corporate events. And again, I have my songwriting in various genres, not just the Nashville and country world, but that's just one of many markets that's that's approachable for somebody who's not trying to be a rock star themselves anymore. I'm trying to get my songs out there to other people. So, but I love to play and perform, and so I have a bunch of different formats that I can do that in. And I enjoy, one of my favorites is just being a singer-songwriter in local venues and playing my songs as well as fun, familiar covers. So I have a huge repertoire. I keep it all cataloged in my iPad, and I have everything, all the song charts that I need, some 1,000 songs or something that I've scanned in all the charts into my iPad, so I can play any kind of gig. And I don't have to bring in sheet music or anything anymore. I've got it all scanned in. So I love to perform, but I also love to teach. I think it's important to note that you could be a great player and not necessarily have the skills to communicate and break it down for people. And I try to do my best to be good at both worlds, both good at breaking things down and good at teaching, which I've been doing for 18 or 19 years now, full-time. Right. This is my full-time profession, and also as a performer. So I try to bring all those worlds together for my students.
Excellent. And you mentioned that you have the home studio where you do recording. Do you help students learn how to use recording equipment if they want to record their own songs or
I
record
do.
their own
That's,
covers.
I've attended a bazillion song crafting seminars, and so I help students learn the craft of songwriting and then get all the way to, I've had students that, started a little EP project here with me, and now they've released it and they're out playing professionally in our community. So that's a lot of fun and a lot of reward that I get there. I'll show you really quick, actually, if you
Yeah.
don't mind me
No, I don't
taking a
mind at all.
tour of my little studio out here in the bigger room. This is my waiting area for students, and you can kind of see here, there's my recording rig. Let's see if I can get the camera angle correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
And then I've got like a vocal booth over here in the corner with some music on the stand.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And I've got the sound foam up in various places, and then I have the lessons room in here. So students come in, students that are taking the lessons live in person with me kind of come in a couple minutes before their session starts, and they can wait in the waiting area, and then I kind of run my scheduling that way.
And the waiting area is that studio area that you were
Yeah,
just
it's a
showing
big
us?
studio. There's a restroom and a nice waiting area, comfortable place to sit there, and they can come in and get tuned up before their lesson starts. Or if we're doing it on Skype, then of course, we can just have them do that on their end. But either way, it works. It works well. We can email materials back and forth. I'm in the process of writing a book, and so I have a lot of those materials in my computer, and I can email them to the student in advance or give them an assignment for the next coming week's lesson, and we can do that all electronically if we need to as well.
That's wonderful, Lee. And one more question before we stop the interview for today.
Yeah.
I was wondering, when students come to you, do you offer guidance to them about what guitars to buy? Say a beginner wanting to buy a first guitar or a more
That's a
advanced
great
guitar.
point. Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. And actually, I have them come in. I have a loaner guitar that they can use for their first lesson if they're doing it in person with me. And then we can talk about, what styles of music they're interested in, what's going to be a good fit. So many people end up with the nylon string guitar, but they want to play folk and rock. Nylon string is generally more suited to classical or maybe some bossa nova style jazz. But, it's not that you can't use it. I mean, Willie Nelson plays a nylon string, but it's more rare. So, we want to fit them, their body size and shape with something that's appropriate. Smaller female might want a parlor size body as opposed to the full size acoustic. And a lot of kids, their parents want them to start on acoustic, but they're more interested in electric. And my recommendation is to, if there's a teenage age student and they want to play electric guitar, they're more likely to practice if they have the electric guitar. And there's not necessarily any fundamental reason to start with acoustic first. So I think, in a lot of ways, the electric's easier to press on the strings. So it depends on the styles they're interested in. I will certainly make recommendations and save them some time and money before they go drop some money on something that ends up to maybe not be the best fit that it could be.
That's wonderful, Lee. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time in your obviously very busy schedule to do the interview with us, because it's been great to learn about your guitar teaching, also to learn about you are a guitar teacher who is a musician and all the various activities you do in the music business and in your career. So it's wonderful to learn about all that you also teach the various stringed instruments like ukulele and dobro. You're sitting behind a lap steel in your Find a Guitar Teacher profile picture. Do you also teach lap steel?
I do. That one in the picture, I believe, is it's a vintage 1948 double neck Fender lap steel, and then I also have a single neck one. The advantage of the double neck is you can have a couple of different tunings available. So you can switch back and forth from a more honky-tonky, say, C6 tuning to a more rock and roll and folk-oriented G tuning, things like that. And so, yeah, I wish I had my ukulele handy, too. It's packed away in the other room. Sorry I didn't have that available. But I love to show people how easy ukulele could be, especially for kids, because it's small and can be very enjoyable as well. And so, yeah, whatever the students' interests are,
yeah, you weren't
I'm happy to accommodate.
Excellent. Yeah, you weren't able to demonstrate ukulele, but nevertheless, people watching the interview know that you teach that as well. So I want to wish you best of luck with all of the various teaching, your guitar teaching and all of the other instruments, and also with your various professional music endeavors. It's been wonderful to learn about them, and I want to wish you best of luck in the future.
Well, thank you. Right back at you, and thank you so much for having me on your site, and to be able to do this video is a real pleasure. And so I'm wishing the best for you guys as well. I appreciate what you're doing to help teachers like myself get our programs out there for the consumers to be able to see. And I think it is important for clients to view several teachers and check out the different approaches and find something that feels comfortable for them and that fits what they're looking for.
I think so too, Lee. And I think this interview would be a great introduction to anyone looking for guitar lessons in Boulder who lives there or who's looking for Skype lessons. They'll be able to tell exactly who you are and what you offer. And I think anyone who's found you as a guitar teacher has found a very good guitar teacher. So once again, best of luck to you. And also hope to see you very soon on Find a Guitar Teacher.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lee. Have a good day. Take care
You
now.
too. Okay,
Bye-bye.
take care.